All right, welcome to Let Freedom Ring special live stream edition here on Wrestlemania Saturday and Sunday. Usually I'd say Happy Wrestlemania Day, but now it's like Happy Wrestlemania Days. But welcome to the show, guys. I'll do a quick introduction here. First, Mike Bollier joining the show, 3 or 4 time guest of Let Freedom Ring, I believe.
Yeah, about right. Yeah, 3 or 4. Right.
So, Mike, how'd you become a wrestling fan?
Oh man, that's such a good question. I honestly, Dan, between you, me, Bobby, Tim, our brothers, I think that's how I became a fan. I think you guys probably found it first, and you showed it to me. And again, the first WrestleMania I can remember is WrestleMania 10, and I remember that Bret Hart versus Owen Hart match where, just they put on a 5-star match. But I also felt I connected more with Owen, being the younger brother. So. He was my boy, and I love that. And yeah, I think that you and me have had a love for wrestling for years. So I think that's where it started.
Awesome. Enjoying the show for the first time. We got Tim Sennett. Tim, how are you?
Good. How you doing, Dan?
Good. Tim, how'd you become a wrestling fan?
Oh, God, you'd be taking it back to 1989, 1990. I was always a fan. As a little kid, like there's pictures of me and my brother on Christmas morning playing with the old Hasbro toys, and I fell out of it for a few years until I moved back to we moved to Nashua, where most of us grew up, and I became friends with the guy Josh, who got me right back in, and it's been sort of an in and out thing since then, but definitely been in for several years now. So.
Awesome. I saw your brother post today, the Brothers of Destruction on Siblings Day, putting your faces over
it. He does that every year. He's done the Hardys. He's done the Steiners. Kid's a clown.
And making a second appearance on Let Freedom Ring, we got Mean Mike Miller from the Portland Territories, as Leo Connors likes to say. Shout out to Leo. Right. Mike, welcome back. You were on. We actually did a Royal. We try to do here on Let Freedom Ring where everything. This show's everything, but we try to cover the bigger wrestling pay-per-views. So we had Mike on the Royal Rumble edition. But Mike, how'd you become a wrestling fan?
Well, it's probably it's been a while, that's for sure. But I'd say my first huge memory, most prominent memory, is when Kane came through and ripped the door off the cell, and I think just seeing that kind of got me honestly into it. That's what I mean. That's kind of my first memory, but I mean that's always been like, you guys know that's been my guy, for forever and always will be. Everybody who knows me knows that's.
I'm sure. Do you already have the Hall of Fame T-shirt? Is that in the mail already for you?
No, but I want to order the retro T-shirt. They came out with a really cool retro T-shirt. They have like an Isaac Yankem one too, which is
oh my gosh,
obviously his first gimmick. But yeah, no, not even just that, but just everything. Just I've always been big fan of the Taker, like we were just talking about, Brothers of Destruction. But he's been a big fan for a while. I need to get my figure collection back. Look at you guys with the pops and all figures. You have a good collection too, but I need to see it. So
I love that. I've always wondered.
I'm jelly.
How kids, younger than us, when they collect these, right, and their guys are, I don't know, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, whoever it may be, whatever, right? But I remember as kids, you really got into Kane.
Yeah.
And that was your boy. And I remember, we all had guys, but I always wonder how kids these days, if it's the same, if who's their Kane.
Right? Yeah, that's a good point too, because he looks like think about it like it's like a superhero. They have the concept art, just like anything as it would be a superhero. It's on paper. They look like a hero, and then they bring it to life, which is one of the cooler parts about wrestling, obviously, which is why I love it so much. Yeah. But to answer the question even better, that's maybe what got me into it, as far as all that. It's like everybody looks up to something, and he was my idol growing up. I'd still, if I met him again, I've met him a few times, but if I say him again, I'm like, dude. It's like, whatever. You're just an entertainer. Thanks for doing that all this time. But I appreciate it. Man. It's just like I looked up to you, and you gave me an outlet as a kid, which helped me a lot. So
and now he's a mayor.
And now he's mayor. Yeah, smart dude. 1 week of Slink too. Remember
that? That's so awesome, Mike. That's so awesome. That's I hope kids have the same experience now.
That's what it's all about. That's what I hope to God for.
Kids. Yeah, they were those larger than life characters. I really hope kids have those same experiences now.
but I don't know if they're gonna get Kane. Like that was so cool. Like I mean,
Yeah.
it's like I hope they do.
Yeah.
Something like that.
But all right, awesome. Well, it's WrestleMania is now 2 days, which is crazy to think about, because of I can say for one, being at a WrestleMania, it's pretty long, and I might have fell asleep. So next question that I want to know: how many WrestleManias have you seen, and have you attended any WrestleManias? Tim, let's start with you.
Yeah, I hate almost to admit this, but one of the first things I did when I got my mitts on the network was I made it a point to watch every single WrestleMania that I hadn't seen yet.
Respect.
So between the videos that I used to rent as a kid and the network now, I have seen every WrestleMania at least once. But I did not get the opportunity to attend until 2019. And Dan, a lot of that was you and peer pressure, but I did. I wound up buying the cheapest seats I could afford up in the nosebleeds, but we had beautiful seats, and I finally got to go to a WrestleMania for 35. It was awesome.
That was a crazy day. Mike Miller, how about you?
I unfortunately have not gone to any WrestleManias, but I plan on it. I definitely, no, I really do plan on it. I have to do that. All of us together as a group, we're going to do it. It's going to happen whenever they come close. Even not, hey, maybe we can make a little trip ski. I don't know why I said it like that, but yeah, we can go on a plane, going somewhere and head down there. But yeah, no, I haven't gone to any. How many I've seen, I don't know. And Tim, I think that's a great answer. I'm jealous, honestly. I think that's really smart that I had the network too, or I have the network and still haven't gone through all of them, and I should have. So as far as I don't know how many I've actually seen as far as accuracy goes, but I mean, at least I'd say at least 10, hopefully more. But yeah,
awesome.
More in the future. So yeah.
Mike B, how many have you seen? How many have you been to?
Seen, I would say I've watched all of them. I mean, I've seen all of them now because of the beauty of the network, right? But I remember WrestleMania 10 being my favorite one in the first one I saw, and I remember being the only one. So, like we've said, Dan and I, I'm the youngest of 4 brothers, and they all wanted Bret Hart, and I remember being like, I want Owen Hart to win. And I didn't know what a babyface or a heel was at the time. I just thought this guy's talking about being the youngest and winning, and I loved Owen Hart, loved Owen Hart. I loved the match, and we had the video game. It was like Raw is War or something like that. Maybe that's a little soon to Raw is War, but we had Raw something. And I loved playing his Owen Hart, and I always played as Owen. So the fact that he won that match just meant so much to me. I loved Owen, and that lasted until the day he died, unfortunately. But I was always a huge Owen Hart fan. So remember WrestleMania 10 is the first one I remember seeing. I haven't missed one since. Even if I've had to go back and watch them, I fell off for a few years where I didn't watch wrestling at all. But Dan, you and I went to WrestleMania 35, 36?
35, yep.
35. And oh my God, how much fun was that? Wow. I mean,
it's so crazy. I gotta say, the parking lot's almost more fun than the actual event.
You're right.
Imagine like you have all your best friends that you've never met, that you don't know they're your best friends, but they love wrestling so much, and they're putting each other through tables.
You're meeting everybody.
Yeah.
How fun was that? And oh man, when you get in there, the atmosphere is just unreal. And that was the match that was Kofi Kingston versus Damian. And when Kofi won that match, it was like you felt the energy, like it went through your body. You know what I mean? It's like whether you cared or not. You couldn't sleep during those matches because they were just like crazy. And yeah, it was amazing. And before we even got in, we just had so many people. We had the what do they call, Dan? The Truth Commission?
The right to censor.
Right to censor.
Yeah. So
dressed as them.
2 times we had a couple guys who are dressed up as Team Angle, so they had their own angle. Charlie Haas, Shelton Benjamin.
We met Mr. Fuji.
Mr. Fuji, yeah. He asked us to target him or tag him in our picks, and we're like, oh shit, what was the name of it again? And we couldn't figure it out, so we never tagged him. But that's okay. We had a blast. It was just it was an unreal experience. It felt like an out of body experience. You know what I mean? It felt like I couldn't be here. we were living it. So besides the AJ Styles versus Randy Orton match where we couldn't see anything because they had the lights on.
And I think I said some nice words to Vince McMahon at that point.
Yeah, but
that's when it's good to be sitting in the cheap seats. We didn't know that was a problem until we got on Twitter the next day.
Oh, it was bad. It was bad.
It honestly, it felt unreal. It really did. It felt like we were just living someone else's dream. So very happy with that. That was WrestleMania 35, like Dan said. We went to, we went to the Wrestlemania store. We bought all the shirts we could. There wasn't a lot of action figures there, Tim. Unfortunately, we had all the figures that we.
I was not impressed. I was not impressed.
You know what my biggest problem with that store was I went there cash in hand, and there were two shirts that I wanted. I wanted the they had done the WrestleMania logo with Becky Lynch, where they had highlighted the word "man," and then they had the one of the New Day crossing the Hudson River. And those are the two shirts I wanted. I was fully prepared to pay like premium prices for buying it at the stadium. They didn't have it. We got to our seats. I got on my phone and they were doing, every pay-per-view, buy one shirt, get one for $1.
Oh man.
What a bunch of dummies.
Yeah.
Because I just had them shipped to the house.
Yeah, you're like, everybody here was gonna have a ship. And yeah, we had the same problem. Dan and I actually found some really cool Hall of Fame shirts. Like I found Hulkamania, and Dan found I think you found the Harlem Heat there.
I got that at the induction.
Oh no, I'm sorry. You got the Rey Mysterio mask there.
Yeah, so
I
big thing was
that.
Yeah, I threw all caution in the wind. I didn't care what I spent. Is the minute I had that Rey Mysterio mask in my hand, I said, "Do you need this?" And the answer is probably no. I wasn't leaving that store without it. It was unbelievable. I will say I went to 29. Big shout out to my boy Pat Sage, who got free tickets from the owner of Modell's back in 2013. And I get a text, a week or two before, Pat saying, "Do you want to go to WrestleMania 29?" I was like, "Do I?" I was like, "How much do I owe you?" He goes, $0. So
yeah, I'm gonna pass.
Yeah. It was unbelievable. I remember the energy there in the parking lot was that this is where John Cena is still in his prime, and you have the "Let's Go Cena" people and the "Cena sucks," and the parking lot all freaking day. "Let's go Cena," "Cena sucks," all day long. So that was a good time, and obviously 35, getting to go with my brothers was unbelievable. Even if we did stay in a very sketchy Airbnb with a ninja sword or whatever that was hanging up in the living room.
We were home within 30 minutes of the end of the event.
Then you didn't get the full WrestleMania experience of getting your Airbnb canceled on you 2 days before you left for WrestleMania, having to book another one in Newark of all places, and then having to wait 2 hours in the pouring rain for a Uber to drive you 15 minutes and $60 down the road to Newark.
That's their new package on WWE.com.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the full WrestleMania experience.
So Bobby and Dan and I, we got to our place and we thought, man, we blew it. This place is crap. And it was just the three of us, and we had one room in another apartment. And then we went to the Hall of Fame, and we didn't spend any time in the room. But after WrestleMania, we came back, and it took us about 5 minutes to get back. And when we came back, there was no one awake or anything like that. And we went into our room. We thought, wow, we crushed it.
Yeah.
Because we were there in 5 minutes, and we were asleep within 15 minutes of WrestleMania ending. So we grabbed the right place.
A lot of credit goes to Bobby on that one. Because Bobby was more responsible. He was pretty responsible.
He didn't really get anything that close. They didn't know it was WrestleMania. Yeah. That's what their Airbnb owner didn't know it was WrestleMania. So he had offered it to us at a lower price than we probably could have got for it. But we done all our shopping during the day, and we spent, we got to the parking lot around 11 o'clock, and there was nobody next to us, Dan, until what, 1, 2? So we had our own spot for a couple of hours, where we had just got a cooler full of sodas, and we were enjoying
Sodas.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So man, I'll tell you, Dan, I would not trade that experience for anything in the world.
No.
Me, Bobby, and Dan, the three brothers, we got to spend
It felt like a lot like the first time I'd ever been to Cooperstown. You know, like
it didn't feel real.
You know, like you're like, I can't believe I'm here. Yeah, the only other thing that I remember from that is anybody that knows me, I'm a super crazy paranoid person. Yeah, who doesn't like to sleep in strange places, who took the air mattress and put it in front of the door, so if anybody was going to break in, it would wake me up and I'd be ready to go.
And you had the sword.
And there was, you know.
All right, Mike and Tim, offline, I'll have to send you guys a picture I took of Dan because he was holding we'll say like a title, right? So he's holding that next to his chest, and he was blocking the door, and he had everything near him. So if anyone's gonna break into a room, which was I think the chances were 0%, but if anyone had, they would have bumped their stuff into Dan, and Dan would have whooped him. So I'm still
that was my plan. That was my plan. But
I knew we were in good shape because ours was just a bedroom in an apartment. Like there were 3 others in there you could rent. And the guy I went with, he works as a locksmith by trade, and he walks in, he goes, "Oh boy," he goes, "I could break into these rooms like 2 minutes." He busts out his credit card to do it and couldn't pull it off.
Oh no!
So I was like, "Okay, I think we're all right. If you can't get in, nobody's getting in."
Can't get in, no one can, right?
All right. Well, let's talk about here. What I want to know, what was your favorite Wrestlemania? And I feel like let's for the people that, since me, Tim, and Mike were out 35, I'm going to ask you to take that one out.
All right. Yeah.
I'm going to ask, what's your favorite Wrestlemania? What's your least favorite? Miller, let's start with you.
Ooh, boy. Honestly, that's tough. I have to think back. I think it was Wrestlemania in Boston. I can't remember the number.
14.
I was going to say, yeah, it was either 13 or 14. Okay, 14. So, but again, Undertaker and Kane going back at it, that was one of my, that's maybe my favorite, one of my favorite, well, it's definitely one of my favorite matches of all time. So I like that. That's just for that. That's my favorite, simply. I know it's not much, but I don't really, as far as a least favorite Wrestlemania, I like them all. It's a cheesy answer, but I really don't have a least favorite one. I don't know. I mean, as far as like moments, yeah, I don't know. Really, I can't think of one that I really hated or anything that really negative happened that sticks out in my head. So that's my bad answer.
Fair enough. I was waiting to see if you're going to rip apart WrestleMania 9 because people love to do that.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to do
that. Tim, how about you?
Yeah, I've got to echo it. Like, it's not even the best WrestleMania, but there's a real soft spot for WrestleMania 14. You know, it was in Boston. God, I wanted to go so bad. Yeah. Wanted to go so like and knowing me, I was probably grounded, so I wasn't allowed to watch wrestling at the time. Because I remember I didn't get to watch it live. And I definitely was not allowed to go. But like that was the whole reason for me going to 35. It's like that was my one chance. I just wanted to go so bad. And I mean, it's got you've got Austin winning the title for the first time, which is huge, especially if you were watching, when we were in middle school or whatever.
That was the hottest era.
Yeah. I mean, unmatched. And then, like you said, Undertaker and Kane squaring off for the first time. Even this, what the stupidest thing is I remember about renting that over at Blockbuster was they cut into the show right when everybody in that opening battle royal with the tag teams is already in. And then the Legion of Doom's music kicks over and they're back with the bike helmets and everything. Like, just so many of my memories from that one, like, really ring out as a kid. So for sometimes the worst reasons, emotional reasons, I got to go WrestleMania 14. But my least favorite, I'd love to dump on 9, but I didn't watch 9 as it happened. Whoa, hello.
Ellie has made her entrance.
I wasn't watching 9 as it happened, so the one that I've got to really dump on is WrestleMania 2000.
Ooh.
I was thinking that. That's funny you said that. I was like, I'm not going to say one, but it's like, yeah, that okay, good call.
Okay, so
good call. Sorry.
I think that's the one. What is it? There's one actual singles match on the entire card.
Was there even one?
Main was a four-way.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah, it's
Main was a four-way, I think.
I don't even think it was like a major match because, not to discredit anybody, but women's wrestling definitely wasn't what it is now. And yeah, there it is. It was Terry Runnels versus the Cat was the one single. And I mean, who's going to remember Terry Runnels versus the Cat? I'm sorry.
No, they weren't trained wrestlers.
Only for bad reasons, yeah, unfortunately.
But yeah, everything else is either a tag or a three-way. And I don't know, that's hard to follow for even then when it was maybe 3 hours,
Yeah, and I just want to address one thing. We have a comment from Facebook from Tim Bollier. Said, "What happened to all the action figures? I've been asked to confirm that they went on eBay." I don't know what he's referring to. I think he's taking a shot at me. Typical Tim.
He might be referring to the ones that I said I was going to pull down and either box away or sell. Yeah. I'm sitting in front of all three that I took down. I took down a current Kane because I think he looks stupid smiling. I took down a Kofi Kingston, which I'm going to keep, but I only bought because he's got Slimer from the Ghostbusters on his gear. And I took down the Velveteen Dream because I can't look at that on my shelf anymore.
Fair enough.
Well said.
Mike B, favorite, least favorite?
All right, so interesting. So I think I probably differ than a lot of people when I think about my favorite WrestleMania. So Dan, you were actually there for this. I hadn't watched wrestling in, I would say, 8-9 years, and I had just kind of zoned out of it. And it was the end of the Attitude Era, and I decided that I didn't want to watch anymore. And then me and Bobby, our other brother, were roommates in college. Well, he was upstairs, but we lived together in college. He comes down and he goes, "You got to see this. They have this new thing. It's called Money in the Bank, and I think The Miz is going to cash in." And I said, "All right, check it out." So I ran upstairs and me and him watched, and Randy Orton ended up beating Wade Barrett, and then The Miz came in to cash in. I thought I hadn't seen anything about this guy, right? And I think this is pretty cool. And I think that's my first Money in the Bank casting too. So I think that's why it spoke to me. Maybe some guys had seen Edge or CM Punk or whoever, but that was my first. So I thought, oh man, this is cool. And I see him cash in, he wins. And so I spent some time and I watched some videos, right? And I watched everything from The Miz from 2008 to 2010. Because it was 2010 at the time. I thought, man, this guy rules, right? And Dan and Mike Miller know that's my boy ever since, right? Like every single pay-per-view, I choose The Miz, and I'm right more often than not because everyone bets against him, and I bet for him. So
no one is a bigger Miz fan than you, Mike. I don't think there's any debate to that.
I'm the biggest Miz that there is, and at WrestleMania 35, Dan and me, Bobby, and I. We're gonna go see him, but the times didn't match up. We had to get all the way up to New Jersey, and he went from Saturday morning to Friday night, and we just weren't gonna make it. So whatever.
There's so many things that you want to do.
Tough. Yeah, there's a lot going on that. So now
what's your least favorite, Mike?
So WrestleMania. Well, let me finish. So okay. WrestleMania 27 rolls around, and he's the guy, right? Yeah. And we put $1 per match. And it's me, Dan, Bobby, Dan Fuentes, a couple other people. We put $1 per match, and the match comes up, The Miz versus John, and I put $2, right? Not a lot of money at the time, but yeah, I put $2. Say The Miz is gonna win, and everyone's laughing at me because they're saying, the John Cena doesn't lose at WrestleMania. Why would they ever do that? And everyone puts $2 down on John Cena. I put $2 on The Miz. And guess who won the main event of WrestleMania 27 was Miz, my boy.
Makes you like him more because you won money.
All their money, which is like maybe $10. But I collected all their money and I made good money on that. And that was my favorite WrestleMania because I had the most fun watching it because I hadn't watched it in a while.
Well, we watched that at UNH too.
We watched it at UNH, and it was Cody Rhodes versus Rey Mysterio and The Miz versus John Cena and Triple H versus The Undertaker. There's so many good matches on that it was just a great WrestleMania for me. So I loved
and
it.
Snooki was there.
Snooki was there.
And you still got back into it.
And if you're right. If you're thinking like main event, you're thinking Snooki, right? So Snooki won. And then John Morrison was fired for the way he treated Mr. Ass. But anyways, so I really enjoyed that WrestleMania. I had so much fun watching that, and they called me back into wrestling, and I've been watching ever since. And if I think of the worst WrestleMania, I don't think there is a bad WrestleMania. I think honestly, WrestleMania is just fun. There's so much that you put into it, and so much that we all put into it. But I think my least favorite, if I really have to think about it, was the tournament where Macho Man won it. And he was supposed to pay Andre the Giant to beat Hulk Hogan, and then it ended up being Macho Man DiBiase in the end. It's not a bad WrestleMania. It's just like it's a really good pay-per-view. But WrestleMania has expanded so much over that time that it just doesn't match up to the others. And I think that the fact that Randy Savage won is great. The fact that Hulk Hogan jumps in the ring and goes, "Yeah, me too! Like I was a part of this." Like it's everything that sets up the next WrestleMania, which is beautiful. Really well done. But that WrestleMania itself, I don't think is that excited. I think they could do better now. I think they could expand it now and that they have more time. But it's my long way of saying WrestleMania 27 is probably the best. And then that one after is.
Well, I'm going to go my favorite WrestleMania 17 because I feel like 17, though, there's going to be debate on this, on when the Attitude Era actually ended. I kind of put the end of the Attitude Era at WrestleMania 17. Hogan. Austin turns heel. We kind of knew that might happen going into it.
That's a good one too, yeah.
But that whole event, like the whole buildup between Rock and Austin, and to be quite frank, that was the best buildup that they had of any of the Rock Austin matches. That video piece with the My Way from Limp Bizkit, it was just so good. Yeah. Best video package ever.
You're right.
It's really good.
It's up there. Yeah. Definitely top 5. Yeah.
When I think of ones that got me just like pumped, right? And I'm an Austin fan, as you can see. When I think of ones that just got me like let's go, like that is the one. And what I love about then and now is you didn't have to bring Austin back per se, right? I'm not saying Austin. You have to bring someone back, an edge to make that happen. It's like they were existent, and they were just like two top guys ready to collide at the same time, and they'd already collided at that point. But you just had
just for the record, Austin was not at the previous WrestleMania.
Right, and I think
he wasn't.
Yes, and Rock won the previous Royal Rumble without Austin being a part of it. But Austin was a big part, whether he won or not, of 97, 98, 99, and 2001. And 2000 was Rock's WrestleMania, right? So it's interesting to see that. But you see those two guys who could both make money on their own, ready to collide, which we haven't really seen in a long time. It's really someone established who's ready to take on someone who's not established or kind of established. We really haven't seen The Rock versus Austin in a long time. And it's been like the Savage Hogan, right? The Rock versus Austin. And like, have we really seen that since? I don't know that we have.
I don't feel like the buildups have been as good. And what I also love about that video package, if you remember, Austin just says, "Rock, you got something that I want." And that's the bottom line. And that the fact that, because a lot of people hate that Austin heel turn. I disagree. I think some of Austin's best work was as that heel character.
Oh, absolutely.
He had comedy down. He made you want to hate him. He started the what's up.
Comedy too,
but the fact that he's, you see the pre stuff and that Austin comes back from injury, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to be the World Wrestling Federation champion. He goes to the guy that he hates more than anything in the world, Vince McMahon. Didn't Jim Ross say like Austin shook hands with the devil?
Yeah.
Because some people hated, because I know the Goldberg heel turn, because Goldberg and Austin were the two big guys at this period for their companies. The Goldberg heel turn was garbage, but the Austin one, I know people hated it, but I loved it because it was like he didn't have to be the Austin he was before. This Austin was just as entertaining, and I'll bet it. Anybody that says that they didn't like him as a heel, I totally disagree.
So I'll tell you that people actually loved Austin like that. They loved heel Austin. It was different, but if you think so, like heel Austin created the what chant.
Yeah,
it still annoys every modern day talent today, right? But they loved the what chant. Like he created that, and he I thought.
Well, they did cheer, even though he turned heel. They cheered.
You're right.
Oh, yeah.
But he went to the stratosphere, right? So he was good before, but heel Austin took him to the next level because now people identify with him in a completely different way. And I don't think to call him a heel ever is probably using the term loosely, because I think that he was just a different version of himself. I know you ask him, he says, "I hated that. I should have just stunned Austin. Stunned McMahon at that WrestleMania and moved on." And maybe that's true, but
yeah, but we wouldn't get those great segments with him angling Vince, him hugging Vince. Remember, it was genius.
Kurt Angle with the little hat.
I was just thinking that. I
mean, how good was Kurt Angle? He still is too. He's so funny.
And I'm glad you brought up 17 too, because it only lets me double down on how much I hated WrestleMania 2000, which was the one before. Because you mentioned, Austin wasn't at WrestleMania 16. I think that was a big part of it that was missing. Like, Austin was still your biggest star at the time, and you had to hedge it on 4 guys: Rock, Triple H, Mankind, and it's the Big Show. But
and another issue with that was Mick Foley was put into retirement.
And
then
who else?
Out.
And who else was missing from WrestleMania 2000 was the Undertaker. Undertaker was off too. That was a huge gap in that one.
Yeah, that's crazy to think about. And especially in that time period, that those 2 guys were injured at the time.
I think you're muted, Mike.
Yeah, you are, bud.
Mike, you're muted.
Sorry, and there's no, like you said before, there was nobody who really stood out, right? So that was the WrestleMania where there was no one-on-one matches, but you were missing those main pieces that could have carried it. And if you didn't have an Undertaker or a Stone Cold or whoever who could just run their own match, then that's kind of what happens. That's what you're left with.
That's the thing about 2000 is, like, I feel like anytime you bring up a WrestleMania, it should be easy to click in your head, like, WrestleMania, what was the main event? WrestleMania, what was the main event? WrestleMania 2000, my mind goes right to the tag team match with Edge and Christian, the Dudleys, and the Hardys, because that was the best match on the card, and it was
the best part.
Completely stole the show.
Yeah.
I don't remember a damn thing about that.
What about Jericho, Angle, and Benoit though?
I have a really hard time with that one. Not because of why you might think. I had a hard time getting into the workhorses as a kid. Okay. So okay, Jericho was oozing character. Jericho was easy to get into. I've loved him since he was in WCW.
Yeah.
I couldn't get into Benoit for the longest time. And so it was hard for me to get hooked on those guys when, like, I was having a hard time buying Benoit's role into it, because Benoit was a workhorse guy. He was a better Dean Malenko,
Yeah.
Like Dean Malenko, no personality, but you love to watch him work.
and just to roll off that, 17, Angle and Benoit, I think, had one of the better matches. That also made that pay-per-view really great. I think Benoit and Angle had chemistry that not a lot of people, in my opinion, had together.
Well, that's who you got to put a Benoit against, is a Kurt Angle or a Chris Jericho, because Benoit's not going to carry the feud. You know, you're going to need Jericho's personality.
Right,
Kurt Angle's
exactly.
Where did Kurt Angle find his personality? Because my God, that guy by rights should have been a Benoit, and wow.
After his first match, yeah.
Sorry, Dan, and he was told by Vince McMahon, he said, "This is what I want you to be," and he said, "I don't get it." And then he found that character, and honestly, I still, and Dan knows this, Kurt Angle is the best wrestler of all time, in my opinion. The best wrestler and character of all time. I think he's just a guy who can be an idiot, but also have
the seriousness,
gold medals that makes him like, I'll kill you. You
right.
know what I mean?
Kurt Angle should definitely be in the conversation more when you talk about like the total package, because like for me a total package is the mic work, the look, the work rate, and everything.
Absolutely.
And your mind goes to The Rock. God, The Rock oozes charisma. My favorite of all time, Macho Man Randy Savage. Kurt Angle should be right in that conversation.
And you think of the Kurt Angles who had those matches with Shawn Michaels, right? Those are some of the best matches of all time.
Oh, totally.
You had them with Jericho too, and you can match his matches with Steve Austin and Triple H and The Rock, and his best match of all time is with The Undertaker, a guy a billion times his size. And the match he had Eddie Guerrero and SummerSlam 2004 or 5 with Rey Mysterio, and the guy could just
2003, 2002.
So he could work everybody's style and be just as good, right? So he can be the guy that Rey Mysterio needs, and he can be the coward that Undertaker needs, or he'd be the guy who's like the Olympic matchup to Stone Cold, beer drinking. Like he just do it all. I truly believe in my mind there's no one better than Kurt Angle. I think he's the best wrestler of all time.
Yeah, super adaptable. Absolutely. As far as what you were saying with Austin before too, as far as him, still being cheered when he's a heel or something like that, he's so well liked before. People are so well liked. It's like you have that past or whatever it is, even not even that, just something you're liked so much, and they try to put you in the heel character, but it's like you just have that charm or whatever it may be about, I don't know what the word is, but whatever it is, and it's like you're still gonna have some people obviously like, but then there's gonna be like, I can't, yay, like they're like Elias is a decent point of that.
Freaking baby face against Stone Cold Steve Austin in 2001, 2002 when Kurt Angle, when they did the WCW WWF thing, and he was the before he switched over, but he was the baby face of that, and it's like, wow, like you are really the baby face against the Steve Austin, Hulk Hogan type, and he fit right into that position. And it didn't seem like anyone ever fit into that position. It had to be like Hulk Hogan coming in as WCW to fit in that position where Austin is the baby face. But Kurt Angle fit in that position. He won the world title in Pittsburgh. Which is his hometown. So
right after, and he was the American hero kind of after 9/11 type of thing, which was pretty cool.
But it's a position where you don't expect anyone to be in. It's just like a larger than life.
Yeah, it's a great point of him being super adaptable to every situation. Like working with a big guy or a small guy, you're just as good. Then, and not even just that, a lot of people are just, oh yeah, they're good workers, but they have both the personality, like we were talking about too. It's like, oh damn, where'd that come from? He has that too. It's like.
Yeah. And to beat him as a babyface and then come back and be his stooge,
it was brilliant.
It really was.
What I want to know now.
Hold up, Dan.
Go ahead, Tim. Yeah.
What's your least favorite WrestleMania?
Oh, I didn't answer that. Thank you. We're all big Kurt Angle marks, and I think we just went off.
Yeah, we got to talk about Kurt Angle.
But I just WrestleMania 2. Not something I ever go back and watch. I know they had like different locations. Yeah. What was it? King Kong Bundy and Hulk Hogan in a steel cage. Was that the main event?
They tried something new and it didn't work.
It did not work. King Kong Bundy, no diss to him. Rest in peace. I don't need to see any King Kong Bundy matches ever. Like I'm totally good.
King Kong Bundy wrestled a match in Nashua at the VFW, and I didn't go because it's King Kong Bundy.
I just watched WrestleMania 11 today. I actually watched the whole thing, and I watched Bundy and Undertaker, and was like, "This was horrible." The coolest part of the match is Kama Mustafa stealing the urn and saying, "I'm going to make this into a chain," and that's exactly what he did. All right, guys, I want to know, what's your favorite singles match? What's your favorite tag match ever in WrestleMania? Mike Miller from the Portland Territories. Me and Mike Miller, let's start with you.
All right. So, like I said before, the Kane Undertaker in Boston. I don't know if that had another reason to do with it too. Just because it was in Boston, I thought it was a really cool. That's Pete Rose, always the good Pete Rose times. That was funny too.
That was awesome.
Good.
Amazing.
It's like not part of the match, but it always like that's. I love how that became a Wrestlemania anymore. Anyways, that's my excuse me, my favorite singles match of all time. Even though there's so many good ones too. But let's see, is my favorite tag team match. Actually, was the one we were just talking about. Even although WrestleMania 2000 wasn't the best, that was one of the matches that got me. I started watching it more around the Attitude Era, era. And as far as like, just seeing the tables, ladders, and chairs, things like that, just kind of got me more into it. But not even just that, just like, yeah, that was a good one. Yep. So those are my two favorites.
I like it, Tim.
I love that I can gush about this in the same breath because my favorite WrestleMania singles match is also my favorite singles match of all time. It's the Macho Man Randy Savage versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat at WrestleMania 3. If anybody ever asked me, why do you like wrestling? What does wrestling do for you? I'd show them that match. I feel like you could watch that match and you get the whole picture. You know why those two guys are fighting, what they had against each other, what they had to gain, what they had to lose. And Macho Man is the ultimate storyteller in the ring. And that is I've got those guys, like you talk about the action figures, they're front and center right here. That's the greatest match of all time to me. Tag matches, yeah, beat a dead horse. It's, even though it's my least favorite WrestleMania, it's got to be the Dudleys, the Hardys, and the Edge and Christian at WrestleMania 2000. And they just set a bar for tag team wrestling. Yeah. They set a bar for tag team wrestling that didn't exist in the WWF prior to then, and everybody who came after them had to follow that.
And they truly were the future. And I think Jim Ross might have said that on commentary. Like, check out the talent that the World Wrestling Federation has right now. These young, talented guys.
Even to look at the sum of the parts there is Devon the only guy in that match who has not held a world title of some sort?
Yeah.
Each correct. One of those guys afterwards went on to hold some sort of world title or another.
Yeah.
Right down to Matt Hardy. I mean, I don't give a lot of credit to the WWE ECW title, but he had it, and it counts,
And he was TNA. I think he was TNA champion.
He was. Yeah, you're right.
I didn't mention them earlier. I should have put the names on there. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Mike, what do you got? Favorite singles, favorite tag?
Favorite singles, I think it's hard to say. There's a million of them that go.
Who's to say?
It is tough. It is so tough.
I think again, Dan, I'll go based on you and me and Bobby being for it, but WrestleMania 27, I put on the Miz versus John Cena, and me, Bobby, Dan Fuentes, and maybe a couple other people, and everyone put their money on John Cena, and I put my money on the Miz, and I hadn't watched wrestling in 10 years, so I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
Well, the thing is too, like, Mike wins the Pick'em League every year. Well, except for Miller won it one year. And I don't know how you pick. I think we're all like, maybe I'm just too much of a mark, like myself.
Me and Mike,
make real picks.
Mike have been 1 and 2 for a year, so there's something about the two of us.
Yeah,
it's a Mike thing, I guess. I don't know.
It's a Mike.
Let's change the name to Mike. Maybe one.
It's a Mike thing, I think. But I really felt that.
Hello.
Mike, what's your favorite tag match?
The Miz had it, and then so my favorite tag match, I would go with Money Inc. versus Hulkamania.
Oh wow!
So Money Inc. versus Hulk Hogan and Bruce the Barber, and I'll take that because I just really loved Hulk Hogan at the time. Who didn't, right?
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have expected him to be in the main event, that's for sure. But I had my Hulk Hogan action figure. I was ready for Hulk Hogan to take it. And I must have been 5 or 6. But I was ready for that, and I was so excited for it. And then he ended up winning the WWE title and whatever.
I'll tell you that night, because I put WrestleMania 9 as actually one of my favorites. I know, again, and we say this on the show all the time, I love Hulk Hogan. Terry Bollea is a piece of shit, but I was a little Hulkamaniac, and I could not wait.
Who the hell it wasn't? How could you? You're
Like,
lying if you say you weren't.
Dude, I couldn't wait because some people. I remember we used to host Wrestlemania. I was only in like second grade. I think like Colin came over and some other people in the neighborhood, and they all left. You know, obviously second grade, they're probably not staying there all night. You know, we're just kids. I couldn't wait to get on the school bus the next day and be like, "You are not going to believe this. Yokozuna wins, then Hulk Hogan comes out of nowhere. He beats Yokozuna, like, and Hogan's the champion." Like, it was just to a little kid, that was like nuts, you know.
Yeah.
I will say my favorite singles match. I don't know if anything can ever touch this. Was Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Wrestlemania 25.
Good match.
There were so many. You know, this is before. If you go back 2009, I know false finishes are now like huge in wrestling. NXT, AEW, they love their false finishes. But it wasn't a big thing in 2009.
You're right.
And The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels delivered. And I remember even like Tim Bollier, who's commented on this, I watched it at his place. I forget why. And he was like, he's like, I can't believe this match. This is unbelievable. I go, dude, I can't believe this match. This is unreal.
He loved too when he was growing up, so I think it adds that.
They brought it to the table. That match to me is the greatest match in WrestleMania history. The second one didn't live up to the first. I think it's hard to duplicate something as good as that was. And my favorite tag match, I'm gonna just piggyback off Tim and Mike. Dudley's, Edge and Christian, Hardy's ladder match. The first
There's a reason. There's a reason why it's,
yeah,
it's so good.
It's probably the best tag match of all time, honestly.
Yeah. They have a good match on Raw once too. I forgot which Raw it was, but there was a 4-way TLC on Raw back in like, I don't know, it was like Ruthless Aggression era, and like it was when Kane and like Hurricane were a tag team, and then Christian and Jericho were a tag team, and I think it was the Dudleys. I don't know who else was in the match, but it was a pretty damn decent match for Raw. And I was just kind of random, but it brings me back. And another quick point too is like when Mike, when you're talking about like getting back into it, it's so strange because I got out of it for a while too, and then I can't make this up. I don't know if it's a quick little story, but I was asleep and I woke up and my TV happened to be, I haven't watched it on like maybe 8-9 years, like maybe they're on the same as you, around a decade. It happened to be on USA Network. It was 10:55, so Raw's gonna be done 10 minutes, whatever. So I'm like half awake now. I'm waking up and I'm just like, whatever, it's on. I'm just gonna watch it for old time's sake. Let's see what happens. Something cool might happen. It's the end of Raw, and all of a sudden, fire comes on and it turns black, and I'm like, no. And I don't even know he's been gone. I don't know. Last time I saw him, he was bald and everything, and then it's like, oh, well, he's Kane, but it's like whatever. So that's the last time I've seen him. It's been that long since I watched it. It goes, whoosh. It was when it was like the Slammy Awards night. It was Cena and Henry. They're facing. Cena slams him, goes black, and then obviously I know what that means. I'm like, huh? And then all of a sudden you see like a black silhouette, and it's long. You can see his long hair's back, but you can't. And then it's like, oh, and my jaws obviously drop. Then he starts walking, has like this new mask. It's like the Predator one, and then I don't know if you guys.
Oh
remember.
yeah, I dug that. Yeah.
Yeah,
So that was my first like. It just happened to be on the TV. I just happened to wake up at 10:55 that night. I haven't watched it in years. If there's any bit of fate as far as me getting back into wrestling again, I mean that was kind of place to happen, I guess. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, well, if this won't get him back into it, then I guess that's it. You know. So,
I like that.
Can't make that up.
I like this. Your boy that got you back in, though. You know, I was kind of like
Miz got you back in.
Yeah, mine was kind of like random, and he became my boy. But like the fact that it was Kane all those years later is the same thing.
It's crazy. It's like
that's cool.
All right, one last.
I mean, Kane is wow. I mean, the longevity of that character. I mean, he was unreal.
He's not even just to be biased, but he's just. I mean, what a smart person, obviously in real life, just to take it to that level, make it work, and just. I mean, I don't know if you saw his. Sorry, Dan. Like it's as quick as his speech at the Hall of Fame. He's just such a genuinely nice guy. Every time I've met him in real life, I guess I drew him a picture one time in a place. The owner told me he forgot it. He came back and got it. Just a good dude. You know what I mean?
That's wild.
He signed all my shit too. Like I've heard good stories. That's proof. Kind of cool stories.
All right, now I'm just gonna We're going to do another stream tomorrow. I want to ask this. WrestleMania is now 2 nights. Do you guys like that?
Dude, yes.
It breaks it up.
I'll just jump in.
Sometimes.
Dude, I'm going to be 36 this summer, man.
I'm already there.
I got a 6-year-old kid, dude. I don't have the energy. So, like, even just earlier this week with NXT being split up into 2 nights, went like 8 to 10:30, maybe 11. Yeah, give me 2 3-hour shifts. Oh man, I'll take that over a 7-hour any day. Yeah, dude, I was in bed before midnight both nights. Heck yeah.
I 100% agree. I think it's overdue to spread it out and have it end a little bit earlier and just let people like enjoy it. And,
well, that's a
good point.
You know, it lets it breathe. You know, because all right, well, like. So what's the thing they announced yesterday is that Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks get a headline tonight, night 1.
Which is
what would have happened to that match if that were buried somewhere in a 7-hour spectacle?
It gives an opportunity for 2 nights of headliners instead of
Sasha gets an opportunity to headline. I'm a giant Sasha Banks mark. I've come around to Bianca Belair.
That's a good point. Yep.
And you know, now they don't have to sacrifice their time. They're going to get their, whatever it is, 15, 20 minutes, you know, versus what might have turned into a 5 to 10 minute match.
I think that's great. And the other thing I worry about, though, it's like, are they still going to be doing that when everybody can come back? Like, you know, to normal. I wonder how it's going to work for this week. Are they going to have 25,000 there each night? Is, you know, presumably.
I honestly, if I were going to put on my business hat, I think they'd be out of their minds not to.
Yep, absolutely. Yep.
Just to take it back to New York, to sell out MetLife twice in a row.
Yeah.
Take double the gate home.
Right.
You won't struggle.
Yep.
It won't be hard. You might not get everybody coming back both nights, but you'll get a lot of people who are going only one or the other. You know the big money matches are going to be on night 2, so you're going to go to that one if you're going to only fly once, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I think they'd be crazy not to. I don't think they will, but I think they're crazy.
It'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see anytime they can make some money. Let's see what there's like Peacock even now, you know, and see what they're going to do with it, you know? It's interesting.
I'm saying I'm not spending my money going there. I'll pay a lot just to watch it.
The only thing I think they trip up on is it. I mean, WrestleMania, even just for WWE, if you disregard every other company, it's a week-long thing now.
Yeah.
And
right, exactly. I was thinking about that anyways.
And I think this year in particular, with NXT going 2 nights, which I know they had to just to fill their time slot anyway, but it's they do step on their own toes a little bit with the schedule, and then they'll definitely piss off their competitors because, like, you guys went to the Hall of Fame the night before WrestleMania. I was in Madison Square Garden watching New Japan and Ring of Honor. You know?
Yeah. I hated that night, by the way. Dan, we had a lot of fun. The 3 of us, you get me and Dan and Bobby together, we're gonna have fun. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
But we got put in a situation where we couldn't find parking, and we didn't, get a ride there or anything like that. But it took us 3 hours to get home and a couple hours to get.
That was miserable.
And,
Brooklyn's a tough egg.
And it wasn't like,
dude. And when I was freaked out because, again, a paranoid guy from New Hampshire who doesn't like.
Dan was pissed when we valet parked.
I don't like that.
He's like, I'm not leaving my stuff here. And I was like, Dan, it's fine. It's valet. He's like,
I was like, I swear, if something happens to that Rey Mysterio mask, something's going to happen to you.
We lucked out that night so bad because me and my buddy Josh, we had no plans for Saturday night. Threw our stuff at the Airbnb, and he said, I've never been to New York City. I want to go to New York City.
Wow.
So we got on the train. The train took us right to Penn Station. Penn Station, you come up right under Madison Square Garden. And so we did that. We walked around, got pizza, went to Times Square and everything. Said, okay, I've seen what I wanted to see. I bought something from a street vendor. I'm a happy camper. We start heading back, and we see the lines going into Madison Square Garden. And we just stopped. We said, do we want to get back on the train and go back to New Jersey? but we want to go in and watch a wrestling show. We got on StubHub outside that arena on our phones. That took us $35 a piece. Just walked right in.
That is crazy.
5 minutes before Brian Malonis walked down the aisle.
Shout out to Brian Malonis too, a former guest of Let Freedom Ring. All right, one last thing I just want to address, and then I want to get into predictions. I don't want to go too deep into this, but you guys talk about what got you back, and I never took that long of a break from wrestling. Like 2002, at first for a little bit, I didn't really watch. 2003, I was in and out. But what got me hooked all the way back was finding out Guerrero had won the title. Benoit was going to now be the champion. And those were two of my favorites going back to watch. I love WCW Saturday Night. That was one of my favorite shows. And I would watch Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit on that show all the time. I mean, I remember them having a match in 95 that I was like, this is the craziest match I've ever seen. Is it tough to go back because that WrestleMania 20 moment was so freaking amazing? But now knowing with Chris Benoit happened to him, tragic loss as well as Eddie Guerrero, is that hard to go back and watch? Or is it just me? Like, I have a hard time watching. I love that moment, and it's hard to watch it.
I can't do it.
Depends on the person. It's like some people can be like, yeah, whatever, I can get over that and still watch. But some people just can't, and it's understandable. It's just, it is what, unfortunately, it is what it is, not to be cliche, but yeah. So I see
I can watch just about all of Eddie's work, no problem. I mean, it's a sad truth. Wrestlers die, typically younger than most people, so I look at that in the same vein that I look at, Owen Hart. I can still go back and watch Owen Hart's work in spite of what happened. Benoit, one of the biggest things I was excited about the network is I never got the opportunity to watch Backlash 2005 the way it was broadcast because I was
we were
there up in Manchester, New Hampshire.
Yeah.
I have never watched that entire pay-per-view front to back because I can't get through it. It's not even that it's a Benoit match. It's a Benoit Edge match in a last man standing match. And they're just beating the bag out of each other. And I tried. I made it 5 minutes.
That's crazy because I was there too. And I bought 2 T-shirts that night. I bought a Hulk Hogan T-shirt and I bought a Chris Benoit is for real T-shirt. And after the Chris Benoit tragedy, I mean, I loved that freaking shirt. I was such a Chris Benoit fan. I loved Chris Benoit. I don't know what I think I just threw that shirt in the trash. Like I just didn't feel right like having it.
Especially at that time, I'm sure most people did.
And there was a lot of obviously now we know with CTE and things like that, there was something going on with him. But I gotta say, as a wrestling tragedy, that is the biggest one. I didn't. Obviously, I'm just a fan. I didn't know Chris Benoit personally, but that deeply disturbed me and a lot of other people. And it just sucks because WrestleMania 20 was amazing. It really was.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Before you move on, I'm gonna let you boys predict it. It's dinner time for me, so I'm gonna hop off and leave you to the rest of it.
Appreciate you coming on, Tim.
Yeah, Tim.
Thank you for having me. I'll definitely try to hop on tomorrow night if you're doing another one.
Yeah.
I will stick you with one prediction. This year is going to be Bad Bunny Mania. You heard it here first. Bad Bunny is going over tonight. Sorry, Mike. All right, guys. Have a good night.
All right,
enjoy
Tim,
the rest of your show. And enjoy the show tonight.
All right, sounds good.
Tim, pleasure.
Yeah, I think we'll probably end up doing another stream tomorrow. But all right, let's go into these real quick. Then we all can kind of just settle in and get ready for the show. Bad Bunny, Damian Priest versus The Miz and John Morrison. Who we got?
I think Priest and Bugs are going to win.
I agree. There's no way that Miz and Morrison beat Bugs and Priest. There's just no way. You don't bring a guy like that onto there just have him lose.
Exactly. Real quick, I feel like Zordon right now. You guys,
I feel like what?
Zordon.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree.
I'm trying to set her for you, Mike, too, so you can see it.
See, and I don't, and I'm gonna be honest. I don't think any losses actually hurt the Miz ever. I don't think losses with the Miz just don't really matter. I know that's hard for Miz fans to hear, but like, it's never gonna hurt his career.
He's always gonna be good.
And I agree. I think there's nothing they can do to hurt him at this point.
No, I mean, you go from WWE champion to maybe losing to like a guy like Bad Bunny, and guess what? Your stock's not going to drop at all. That's just how he is as a character.
Especially when everybody expects it this way. You know what I mean? It's like, oh no, he lost. Like, well, obviously he's gonna lose this match. Like,
yeah, you're right.
And who cares?
Right. It's
Braun Strowman, Shane McMahon, Steel Cage.
Braun.
Yeah, I picked Braun.
Braun. This whole angle's been very it's been very Nickelodeon-ish. I mean, I'm pretty sure Braun was slimed.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
So yeah, that's a quick one. Cesaro, Seth Rollins. This could go either way.
I want Cesaro, but I think Rollins is gonna win.
You think?
Yeah, I don't know. I want Cesaro to win. It's like that's one where I'll be like, either way. If they're wrong, like obviously I don't want to get it wrong.
You're right. Me and Mike have been Cesaro fans for years.
Ellie's having a ball right now.
Yeah. Ellie agrees. I think Ellie loves Cesaro too. Apparently,
me and Mike Miller have been big Cesaro fans for years.
Yeah,
so, I hope he wins, but if he doesn't, Mike, I think you're right. I think it doesn't hurt him, doesn't hurt Rollins. So
right. Hopefully they'll get the championship one day. He deserves it.
I hope so.
Let's see here. We got the turmoil match. Winner gets Shayna Baszler, and Nia Jax. We got Lana Naomi, Dana Brooke, Mandy Rose versus the Riot Squad versus Natalya, Tamina versus Billie Kay and Carmella. A lot of tag teams have been broken up and just been put into other tag teams in the women division, which is kind of weird. Who do you guys got?
Yeah. I picked. I think just with all the build up, I think it's going to be Naomi and Lana, but I could be wrong. So
I agree.
Here's Mike.
All right, so we got the two big ones here. We got Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley for the WWE Championship. This is McIntyre's essential first rematch since losing the title. I'm loving Bobby Lashley as champion. I like McIntyre as champion. I'm happy with either way. I'm not quite.
Me too.
I'm not ready for Lashley to lose the title, but I think he is.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I think exactly what you just said. Basically, I was just going to say pretty much everything you just said. Like, I think they're both great. Obviously, they've worked so hard to get to where they are. And it's like either one wins, I'm gonna be happy. But
we also got MVP here, the manager.
That's true. But selfishly, I want Drew to win because I picked Drew. So
yeah, I did pick him too. Yeah,
I think Mike's right. Yep.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. And I could be wrong. I mean, they could pull the wool over our eyes tonight, and Bobby Lashley retains. But I really feel like everything's been built towards McIntyre, and that Bobby Lashley is the closest thing to a Brock Lesnar that WWE actually has. So why not go with him?
Amazing. He's awesome.
Yeah. Bobby Lashley, I want to just say, took Lashley and McIntyre, two guys, their first runs got cut short. They just didn't have whatever WWE wanted at the time, and now they are in the championship match at WrestleMania. I think that needs to go. They main evented TNA pay-per-views. It's just incredible how far these guys have come, and they both deserve it. Main event. This has been announced. We got Bianca Belair, the challenger, Royal Rumble winner, versus the Boss, my favorite women's wrestler, Sasha Banks. Who we got?
I'll take Bianca. I think
Bianca's they're gonna give it to her.
I think if you're gonna have them close, then have them close with the bang.
Yeah.
I agree. But so in our league, I did pick Belair, but I will say Stan Michael of Talk of Champions, a great wrestling podcast. If you haven't checked them out, they're awesome. He's going with Sasha, and he might have swayed me, but I've already locked my pick, so I'm going with Belair. But I think there is a chance that Sasha's reign is not quite ready to be over.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Fair.
Yeah. So, all right, boys. Well, I appreciate you coming on. We're probably going to have another stream tomorrow, working on that. Obviously, this is just such a big weekend for all of us wrestling fans. We obviously love it. We're looking forward to it. Anything else you guys want to say before we sign out?
No, man. Thanks for having me on, as usual.
All right. Well, until next time, everyone, let freedom ring.